Hey, what's poppin', everybody? Not quite the day we were wanting yesterday as far as player props go. Ended up going 3-2 yesterday. The lock of the day did not hit. That makes us 5-3 overall in the year. 0-2 on the stinking locks of the day, and down 3 units on player props. Jameis Winston, despite having a horrible start to that game, ended up throwing 2 touchdowns late, and he hit on his line. Lamar Jackson had 22.4 fantasy points. Threw a deep bomb, and I was waiting for them to catch it, and then he ended up throwing a pick. So he just barely misses on his fantasy points. Really just didn't scramble that much in that game. Had a really good passing game, just really didn't run around that much. So Lamar didn't end up hitting for us. Jonathan Taylor went crazy once again against the Houston, or not the Houston Texans. It was Houston Texans. Against the Houston Texans. Derrick Henry, I was watching this game at work. He had about 3 that I can definitely remember. 10 to 12 yard rips that got called back for holding. Ended up finishing with 82 yards. Had his offensive line stopped holding people, he would have easily gone over this 100 yards rushing, but I think he finished with a rate about 82. So Derrick Henry did not hit for us for the lock of the day. And then Justin Jefferson ended up going berserk on the Packers. I ended up pulling him out of the 5 slip I ended up officially doing, but Justin Jefferson did end up going crazy on the Packers. Like I tried telling people, the new offensive coordinator, the new offensive-minded head coach for the Vikings was going to change everything, and it absolutely did. People laughed at me because I thought the Vikings were going to be the number 1 seed in the NFC. I don't think they're laughing anymore after they destroyed the Packers. But with that being said, our parlay is still wide awake here. It's basically down to let's ride, baby, because it's going to come all down to the Broncos winning by a touchdown here and covering their spread tonight. Ravens easily covered the spread yesterday, and the Buccaneers easily crushed the Dallas Cowboys yesterday. I don't know why that spread was only 2 points, but it is what it is. We'll take that, man. It's free money, and it all comes down to the Packers and them beating the Seahawks tonight by 7 points. And our first parlay of the year, will absolutely crush. I'm also thinking about, starting in week 2, going to go back to the 25 to 10,000 challenge again. We got to bet $25 on one bet that's minus 150 or less. And we're going to do that we're going to carry that bet every week into an NFL game. Every week into an NFL game. We're going to do that over the course of the entire season. So with that being said, guys, let's go ahead and get into today's bets. Real quick, if you guys are new to Underdog Fantasy, in the link down in the description below, I have a link that takes you straight to the App Store where you can download Underdog Fantasy, because you're going to want to hop in on the action this year. They have added a whole bunch of new features to Underdog Fantasy this year, starting with the brand new insurance feature, okay? This insurance feature is a new thing that has been super requested for the fans and the customers of Underdog Fantasy. Essentially, all you do is you click insurance right here, and if you can see right there, all you have to do is hit 4 of these picks to win, but the value does drop down. So if you turn off the insurance, you do a $10 bet, you obviously get $200. And if you turn on the insurance feature, it drops down a multiplier down to 10. But if you miss one of these picks, say Jameis Winston gets hurt or something, he doesn't end up throwing 2 touchdown passes, but everybody else hits, like Lamar, Jonathan Taylor, Derrick Henry, and Justin Jefferson. All these guys hit. You still hit the slip. You just get it for $100. It just goes down a multiplier, which is a huge feature a lot of people have been asking for, so they received it. Also, they have added second half lines now to games. Obviously, it is on. There is nothing up because there's no NFL second half games, but they have added NFL second half. So just like for the Thursday night game, I'll throw up that clip right here. Thursday night, they dropped all the second half lines for that Thursday night game between the Bills and the Rams. They've added a bunch of new features this year. They're trying to improve to get the app better for you guys. Also, when you sign up, if you use code TAKEMYSHOT, you'll get $100 match, up to $100 match and 100% deposit match on your first time deposit. So if you do that, you can deposit $50, you get an extra $50, $20, you get an extra $20. Whole lot of stuff coming with Underdog Fantasy this year. Make sure you sign up with code TAKEMYSHOT. Now let's get to today's bets. All right, so Underdog this week has a payout booster available for this Monday Night Football game with Russell Wilson's yards. I ended up pairing Russell Wilson's yards last night up with something. So here's my slip from yesterday. I had Mike Evans over in his receiving yards, who just barely hit on that last second fade touchdown he caught. But then I have Russell Wilson higher than 26.5 yards, 26.5 total yards. And then I got Cortland Sutton when he was at 60.5 yards. So this is my payout booster slip. I'm going to give you guys 2 other options for this payout booster slip if you want to add Russell Wilson to, but I'll throw you guys some other plays. But this is my payout booster slip. I ended up doing it for a $15 entry for a 3-pick that pays out $150. So that's my slip, and I'll go ahead and give you guys a lock of the day and 2 extra picks that I'm really liking for this Monday Night Football game. So let's get it. All right, so today's lock of the day will be coming from the Denver Broncos side of things. Give me Courtland Sutton, man. I'm really high on Courtland Sutton over 60. Again, it's been bumped. Yesterday it was 60.5. It's now 63.5. Courtland Sutton, reports coming out of Denver Broncos camp as he has been Russell Wilson's clear number 1, clear target number 1. We know DK Metcalf has been his clear target for the past couple of years, and before that was Tyler Lockett. When he's got a number 1 guy, he absolutely feeds that guy the pill. He gets a whole lot of yardage. When you're also looking at the defensive side of things for the Seattle Seahawks, man, their secondary is pretty trash. As far as corners go, it's pretty trash. Unless you religiously know football, man, their top 3 corners are Mike Jackson, who I've actually never heard of, Tariq Woolen, who I have heard of, and Artie Burns, who's going to get burnt a lot today by Courtland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. Their corners are pretty bad. It's pretty hard for you to be a guy in the league that I don't know. I know if I hear your name at least one time, I always remember it, and I do not know any of these corners. Over the top, they're pretty good on the safeties. They have Jamal Adams and, who's that other guy? Give me just a second. Oh, yeah. Jamal Adams and Quandre Diggs. So on the backside, they're pretty good, but on that front side, the guy's going to be actually covering the wide receivers. They're pretty bad. I even went to the extent to check out the new defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks, who's rather inexperienced at the head defensive coordinator position. He's been an defensive lineman coach for most of his life, has Clint Harris. Has some experience at the college level, and then has a couple of years, since 2014, he's been in the league, but he's been a line coach and an outside linebackers coach for most of his career, and then landed. He's been with the Seahawks since 2017, but he just now officially has landed the official defensive coordinator position, so pretty inexperienced at the defensive coordinator position, where he has to look at the whole landscape of the defense, not just defensive line and the linebackers, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out versus this Broncos team. But for all those kind of reasons, I'm really liking Courtland Sutton today over 63.5 yards receiving. All right, next up, if you haven't used your payout booster or you don't want to use it on this slip, or if you've already used your payout booster and lost it, I'm going to throw a couple extra lines at you guys that I'm really liking from this game. I'm really liking this rival of Geno Smith to stay within 3.5 pass attempts of Russell Wilson. In the NFL this weekend, there was 4 blowouts, and I count blowouts kind of like 10 or more points that a team got beat by. Dak Prescott and Tom Brady, of course, the Bucs blew out the Cowboys. Dak had 29 pass attempts to Tom Brady's 27 pass attempts, so he was able to stay within that within those attempt range. Mahomes and Kyler Murray. Mahomes threw 39 passes. Kyler threw 34, but he got pulled, and Trace McSorley threw 4 passes. So it's pretty hard to think that Geno Smith will get pulled, so I don't think that'll happen. So had Kyler Murray not gotten pulled and he threw those 4 extra passes, he would have stayed within range of Patrick Mahomes. Kirk Cousins and Aaron Rodgers, the Vikings blew out the Packers. Kirk Cousins 32 pass attempts to Aaron Rodgers 34 pass attempts, so he even went over on Kirk Cousins' pass attempts. And then the Ravens blew out the Jets. Lamar Jackson had 30 pass attempts and Joe Flacco had 59. So in all these games that were blowouts, which is what I'm anticipating tonight to be, the losing quarterback had more pass attempts or stayed within range of the winning quarterback because he had less pass attempts because obviously they weren't throwing the ball as much. So I'm really liking this Geno Smith to stay within Russell Wilson and this pass attempt rival. Also just a straight up pass attempt line for Geno Smith at 30. I believe his line is sitting right at 30.5 on his pass attempts. I also think that's another solid line. Yeah, 30.5 pass attempts for Geno Smith tonight. I think outside of Tom Brady in that Dak Prescott game, just about everyone threw about 30 passes that got blown out in these games. So that is a second line that I'm really liking from this game. And our last play of the day will also be coming from the Seattle Seahawks. Give me Rashad Penny under 70 yards rushing. Going to be a long night for him. This defensive front, this new and improved defensive front for this Denver Broncos team is pretty nasty. DJ Jones, Bradley Chubb, Randy Gregory, those are just the stars on that front. And the back end, Ronald Darby, Kareem Jackson, Patrick Surtain, Justin Simmons. It's a pretty loaded defense, man. And they're going to get down early in this game. So if he doesn't, rip off a big one early or get these yards early, he's not going to get it late, because in that second half, they're just going to be passing the ball the whole time because they're going to be down, 14 to 20 points in that second half. So definitely give me Rashad Penny under 70 yards rushing here today for our last play of the day today. All right, so I will give it to you guys a couple of different ways here on this Perfect 3 slip. So if you've already used your Russell payout booster, okay, this is what I think is the best play. Lock of the day, Courtland Sutton over 63.5 yards receiving, Rashad Penny under 70 yards rushing, and then give me Geno Smith to stay within 3 passing attempts of Russell Wilson on this rival, okay? if you've already used your payout booster. If you haven't used your payout booster yet, I think the best play here is to pair up the Russell Wilson payout booster, and again, I think he's going over in his yards. Cortland Sutton, lock of the day, over 63.7 or 0.5 yards receiving, and then Rashad Penny under 70 yards rushing is the perfect pairing to throw together with this Russell Wilson payout booster for you guys. All right, with that being said, not the start we were looking for. Again, the payout or the parlay is still alive. We threw 5 units on this bad boy for a payout of 340, so we could definitely be up big as long as the Denver Broncos pull off this this win tonight by a touchdown. They got to win by a touchdown to the Seattle Seahawks. They just, everything else played out. They just need to win by a touchdown, so we could still be up pretty big. Haven't connected on the player prop bet yet, or I guess yesterday if you guys saw on Instagram, I did throw. On Sundays, I like to throw together a bunch of $5 or $1 5 slips to just play around with a bunch of different players and games. So I did end up connecting on one of those yesterday, but that was just for funsies. So with that being said, guys, last game of week 1. Hopefully you guys' teams performed as you guys wanted them to. Couple of things that I was talking about kind of definitely turned into fruition. So it's gonna be a good year. I'm really excited. With that being said, guys, I will catch you tomorrow. Peace.